Hey, what's up everybody? So getting into this video, we start off with bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do with catchy shitty ass friends? They started off bantering in the back seat, and they had stolen Dusty's dad's car, and they smashed it into somewhere to steal some shit, but the cops was onto their ass, so they went running, but they gave Cash a bag of stolen goods, and then they just went on the run. So that was interesting. And then next was Anne-Marie took my advice from my last review, and she burned everything that she had of Harper, as she should. I'm glad that she did do that, because Harper ain't shit. And then, speaking of the devil, she got dropped off by the woman she was staying with Meredith. But Harper was clearly uncomfortable being around her dad. She just looks around her room. You could just see how uncomfortable she was. I'm like, well, something was brewing over there. But we go to the school, and we briefly flash to Quinny and Sasha making out. I'm like, good for Quinny. I'm happy that as long as Quinny's happy, I'm happy, because I like Quinny. She's a really sweet girl. She deserves as much happiness as possible. And then Dusty bumps into Harper at the school. He's trying his best to win her over, win over her little black heart, but she's not really. She's trying to play hard to get right now. So we skip to Anne-Marie, Quinny, and Darren, and Anne-Marie talking about, oh, I'm never gonna have any romance again. I'm like, girl, bye. You know you was way too fabulous to be without a guy for that long. So we ain't trying to hear that. But they try to cheer. So that's basically what Darren and Quinny was trying to tell her. But Quinny told her, try to convince her to just go find a new hobby to distract herself from all that. So she approaches this group called the Ha Ha Club, where the group is full of a bunch of fucking weirdos that laugh for no reason. And then so she's like, next. That group wasn't for her. So the next scene they focused on was the coach tried to get that douchebag toilet seat Spencer and Malachi to get on the same page, since apparently they're the best players on that basketball team. But Malachi approaches Anne-Marie. He's trying to get a date with her, but she is playing hard to get now. I'm like, girl, don't be working my nerves right now. But that became the running theme of this episode. She kept slapping herself whenever she would think of anything sexual, because she's like, no, because after she got humiliated by Dusty, she trying to close down her walls. I'm like, I like Anne-Marie. We can't be having this right now, though. No, we can't be having that. That girl deserves happiness. So I'm like, don't make me have to cuss you out, Anne-Marie. Don't make me have to, We gotta break Anne-Marie out of this. But more with Anne-Marie, she approaches Sasha about joining that club, the club that Sasha is in, but Sasha's still on her high horse. So Anne-Marie's access to that club got denied. They're in the classroom next. They have a group assignment, and Dusty wants to know who stole his dad's car and smashed it. I'm like, Dusty, we already know who it was, Richard. We'll know long before your ass do, and you ain't gonna do shit about it when you do find out. Probably ain't gonna do a damn thing. So what difference does it make? Does it make to you, Dusty? So they got assigned to groups because they're working on this consent project for that slut class, and Darren proves why I love him so damn much. Darren was throwing shade at Harper. Talking about Harper stealing her best friend's crush. Like, totally trifling. I'm like, you go, Darren, by telling her about herself. And then after the class so after they're done with that group assignment, the next one, Anne-Marie is sitting there daydreaming about Harper. And then Darren again saves the day, like, talking about, you look like a a housewife offcut, and you need to seriously forget that bitch. I'm like, you go, Darren, dropping facts. Speaking of dropping more facts, yep, and then Cash goes home to his grandmother's house, but his grandmother sees right through his bullshit too. She sees right through it. So he gives her some excuse, say he's running off on doing something else, and then here's my little hypocritical side because I don't like Missy. I forgot all about Missy when I first watched this show for the first time last summer when it first came out, and I had to rewatch it as I see I'm doing these reviews now. So I had to rewatch it, but I forgot Missy even existed. I don't like her either. But she and Sasha were sitting there like catty little bitches, acting like Harper didn't do anything wrong to Anne-Marie. And then she claimed, but Harper still claiming, oh no, she don't want to date Dusty. I'm like, yeah, right. And then she just ends up giggling with them little heifers. X. And then the nerve. This son of a bitch. Dusty had the nerve to go approach Anne-Marie. And he knew Anne-Marie was crushing on him for however long. He had to have known that. So he had the nerve to speak to her like she's just this little tramp that's lucky to have gotten with him. Because he fixed his mouth to say, I'll just make out with anybody, but Harper actually means something to me. I'm like, have you lost your damn mind? How is he gonna? I'm like, hell no. He needs to be slapped. But he wants Anne-Marie's advice on how to get Harper to break down her walls. So Anne-Marie tries to set his ass up by basically lying on him. Lying, talk about, oh yeah, why don't you just tell Harper all your secrets and everything embarrassing about you, everything what's up, just tell her all that. She gonna love that. And he takes her advice, talk about, I owe you one. I'm like, Dusty, go play in traffic. Anne-Marie ends up having this fantasy about Malachi and that douchebag Spencer kissing. I'm like, Anne-Marie, what is wrong with you, girl? I'm like, get it together and go get you some Malachi. And Cash goes to Darren's place to hide that bag of stolen goods. But Darren's dad ain't feeling that shit. And he demanded he go give that shit right back to Cash. Because he do not have no time for that bullshit. So Dusty goes back to Harper's house, and he sits there and he follows Anne-Marie's advice, but that shit actually worked. And Harper was all impressed and shit. I'm like, Anne-Marie figured her plan would backfire. But Darren's just telling her, girl, go get you some Malachi. You don't need to be worried about Dusty or Harper. Fuck both of them. But the police arrive looking for Cash, but the grandmother just ended up blowing them off. But she interrupts Cash while he was in that shower, and she made it clear. She's like, look, I'm not dealing with your bullshit. Go dump those little loser ass friends that you got and go get you some real friends. I'm tired of this. Don't end up like your mama. I'm like, you go, Granny. Harper now all of a sudden wants to talk to Anne-Marie. She don't want to, but Anne-Marie don't want to hear what she got to say at this point. But so Anne-Marie and Malachi end up bonding at the basketball court. They're just playing and talking. He asked her out again, but Anne-Marie's still playing hard again. I'm like, damn, Anne-Marie, come on. And it turns out Malachi don't even need to be attending that slut class. They mixed him up with somebody else named Malcolm, but he's just been staying there because he really want Anne-Marie that badly. She leaves smiling somewhere. She's still playing kind of hard to get at this moment. We see Cash again with his shady friends, but he gets out of hanging out with them, talking about, oh no, because I gotta go take my granny to an appointment. But this bitch, but then the next thing, this bitch Harper still won't give up. She's still talking about. So now she shows up at Anne-Marie, as Anne-Marie arrived home. Now she's showing up. She's doing Anne-Marie's little sister's hair. So Anne-Marie's tells her sister to get out, and now Anne-Marie's finally want to hear out what Harper had to say. Harper's like, well, I didn't get with Dusty to try to hurt you. I'm so sorry. You said I'm sorry about that, and then Anne Marie, of course, wants to open up her heart back to Harper. But Harper then goes back to being about, no, I still don't want to be friends with you. I'm like, why would you go? You know Anne Marie still had a soft spot for you. You know all that. But yet you still wanna be acting like a bitch right now. After you hounded her like a dog this half of this episode to talk to you. Now she's talking to you, and now you still playing games that you in your feelings. Like, come on, Harper. So Anne Marie even still tries to give Harper a hug and be like, girl, I will always be here for you. But Harper just storms off talking about that's bullshit. I'm like, girl, bye, Harper. Next is Darren and Cash. They was hanging out and bonding. I like the chemistry between them. And even though Darren's dad is warning Darren to stay away from Cash, he thinks Cash is bad news. But I'm like, old man, mind your business. Everybody could change at some point, but he's right though. Cash ain't shit right now, but Cash will be all right at some point, I'm sure. And then after that, but both Harper goes and hooks up with Dusty, but the real story is Anne Marie finally caved and went and got her some of Malachi. I'm like, yes! I was waiting for that whole episode. I'm like, finally they was getting it on, and I'm like, yes! It's about time the good characters get some justice. I'm like, ooh, yes. That chemistry between Malachi and Anne Marie is fire. Just wonderful. But that concludes this review of this episode. This was a pretty good episode for the most part. Follow me on Instagram. My username is in the description box below, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Peace.